All right. So, fun fact. Did you know that armadillos' armors are bulletproof?
Are bulletproof?
Are bulletproof.
So what about when people hunt armadillos? No, they do.
Um,
So it's just like, what do they shoot them with?
uh, I think people are fast enough to like run and catch them.
Because if uh, if if you shoot an armadillo and it doesn't hurt him,
No.
then you sure as hell can't club it to death. Because that's
No.
not going to be much better.
Um, there was a story about an armadillo. This guy shot an armadillo, right, and it ricocheted off the armadillo, and then it ricocheted and hit the shooter of that gun.
Oh wow.
Yeah, which I thought it was.
Nice.
I thought when I heard that, I thought it was fake, but I did a Google search on it. It's actually true. But I mean, maybe bulletproof to some extent. But I mean, are people hunting armadillos?
I think people do.
Yeah.
The extent of how people hunt things is boundless. If we could find a way to kill it and eat it, we probably would,
All right.
or make something of it at least.
All right.
You ever hear about those like redneck folk that hunt squirrels and
Yeah.
eat squirrels,
Mhm.
and they make real recipes out of squirrels? I watched an episode of Extreme Cheapskates, and there was a hillbilly cheapskate that made squirrel dumplings.
Oh,
I
did
thought it
he
was
fold it and stuff like
Yeah.
that? Oh man.
And speaking on that, did you know that someone actually, someone killed a squirrel, tried to eat it, but undercooked it, therefore contracted rabies
Ooh.
and died from it.
Ugh.
Anyways, for my fun fact, there's one animal in the world that can survive radiation,
Oh, I know that.
uh, lava, and
Lava.
and freezing cold. The one creature that can outlive our entire civilization.
That sounds like a bear. What is that? It's a microscopic creature.
Yeah,
Um,
exactly. The water bear.
Water bear. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's the only one creature that can survive all that. And I thought that was pretty amazing. His penis is half the size of his body.
I knew it was gonna come around to that. I totally knew it was gonna come around to that.
The biggest they've ever gotten is 0.04 inches, though. So they're pretty microscopic.
Shit.
And their penis is 0.8 inches. You just see his little stick just moving around. It's like, yeah, that's his dick. Anyways, on to today's topic. What have you ever been scared of, Cola?
I mean, there's a lot of things. I mean, as an adult, there's some things, and as a child, there's
Commitment.
it just evolves. It's like yeah, it's just it definitely evolves when you're getting older. So there's like certain things you're not afraid of, but now you're definitely afraid of. Shoot.
Okay, let's put it like this then. What about let's focus on the things that you used to be scared of when you were a kid. Rational and irrational.
As a kid, ghosts. Deadly afraid of them. It's like, and dark night. Oh my god. I remember having to run upstairs, turn on the lights, and then my sister would turn it off while I'm like running upstairs, and I would just drop to my feet. I'm like, just drop to my feet because I was like so afraid to like keep constantly moving. But yeah, because you never know what's in the dark, right? But, yeah.
Well,
I'm
you're kinda like
I'm
one thing.
definitely like I'm glad I kind of grown out of it. But I know some certain women who are afraid of the dark.
I don't know if you're growing out of it, really. When we go on trips, you're like, I see some ghosts.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, I see them. Like I tell Walker that I've seen a couple of ghosts on my travels around the world, but I don't think he believes me. Uh, but yeah.
It's more like I want to believe you, but you need to show me something.
But I think it's hard because you have to physically be there and like, I can't. I
Mhm.
can show you a photo, but if you don't believe this orb, floating orb, is not a ghost, then
Or it's more like when it's happening and you do point it out to me. You don't tell me that it's happening then and there. You wait for the ghost to try and eat me first, and then you're like, "Hey, he's right there."
uh, what would convince you that it was a ghost?
Wait, convince me that what was a
Convinced
ghost?
that it was actually a ghost. What would convince you?
Mm,
Uh,
it would have to be it would have to be something that's present
yeah.
in that moment, whether by picture or in person. Like it's not naturally there.
Mhm.
So
Have you seen one
it's
yet? No.
no.
Oh. Okay.
Uh,
That's good to know. That's good to know, Walker.
I don't
It's
know,
good to know.
because then again, you tell me that they're there, but when I'm in the moment with you, I don't see anything. So I think that just means you're going crazy, man.
No. Uh, but definitely like ghosts is like like number one things, and then monsters under the bed. That
Mm,
was a big thing.
that one's pretty big.
Yeah. I mean, if I ever have a child, I would definitely definitely like yeah, agree with them. Yeah, there's monsters under the bed. Nice to see what. I think I'll probably mess with them.
Why do you think I put you in this room? I want them to eat you first, so I can get away.
Um, and then some real like kids issues like getting kidnapped when I was like, younger. I remember having announcements on the intercom saying that, "Hey guys, if you're gonna go home, please watch out for yourself." I'm like, what? Right now, like
Mm.
as I think about it as an adult, like man, that was crazy when actual adults were warning you not to get kidnapped and watch out for yourself.
Did I tell you that I almost got abducted
Oh
as a
no,
kid?
no. When was
Um,
this?
this happened when I was, I think, when I was 33 years old.
Shut up.
And no, I was about, I want to say about, I think 10 when I was walking home,
Mm-hmm.
and there's this big street that's kind of adjacent to my house, and I was walking on my way home, and this old lady stopped in her car
Mm-hmm.
and opened the window, and she asked me if I wanted a ride home, and part of me was just like, yeah, that'd be kind of nice, huh? uh, but my house is already right there, which she didn't know that, but I politely refused, but I was thinking like, dang, I should have just taken that ride.
Like another extra block.
Yeah, I was a lazy kid, but you know, it's just at that time I was thinking too. It's like it's an old lady. Like what could they do? Or like it's a sweet old lady. I don't think that she would mean any harm. Until I saw a lot of stories today about sweet old ladies that did stuff like that, and I was like, oh man.
Sweet old ladies. I think. I think. I'm surprised it was a woman. Like. I think people drop their guard when it's a woman. Because women can kidnap too, man. Come on.
Yeah, but
But yeah, I think people. I think
yeah,
women drop. I mean, people drop their guard when it's a woman, but when it's a man, they put up their guard. But But yeah, like think about now. Like I have a 10-year-old nephew, and I'm like, I don't think he's. I don't think he should be walking alone, anyways. I'm like, man, it's just. Yeah, it's different times now, right? It's different times. Like
I think that
kids don't walk
we
to
should
school
teach
anymore.
kids. I feel like we should teach kids martial arts and how to use a taser and pepper spray.
And use their phones, and they got phones now. So it's like,
Hmm. Yeah, phones.
should they carry pepper spray and tasers? Maybe pepper spray,
Mhm.
but not taser.
Mm. Yeah, like there should be a method for them to defend themselves in the event that something happens, and there there was those seminars that taught you like what can happen and how to get yourself out of it, and I thought those are kind of hilarious. And it's like it's funny because I think John Mulaney was talking about this, where he's just when they talk to you about that stuff, it's like they want you to they don't want you to get kidnapped, they want you to almost get kidnapped. So they want you to put yourself in that situation. It just sounded so funny. But yeah. But ghosts and monsters, they're they were definitely a thing as a kid. I had pretty irrational fears as a kid growing up. But that's because my mom told me a lot of crazy things that she made an honest effort to make me believe. And then so she showed me so she told me if I stared at a microwave while it's working, then my head would explode. So that's why you don't stare at a microwave. And really, it's completely harmless thing. I don't know why she was so scared of that. Maybe it's because of like radiation or whatever. But that's the thing she told me, and I never stared at a microwave until I was like, I want to say like 18.
Oh.
So it really felt like it was just something that I just let myself believe. It didn't scare me at all. I just thought it was just something that was just really bad, and she just interpreted it differently. Another fear I had was Jaws. So
Sharks?
after I saw the movie Jaws, I got super freaked out, especially when especially if I took a bath, because I always felt like my whole tub would just like open up and I'd just fall in, and then I would just be submerged in water where there's a shark waiting.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that can remind me of swimming. Swimming was a big fear when I was growing up.
Oh, was it?
Yeah, I think because I think a lot like my aunts would tell me like to justify drowning. It's like you're my aunts are like, yeah, if you're drowning, it's because somebody's grabbing you in the water, right? Some desperate like because you can't swim. Yeah, the reality is, but the thing is like once I got older, you know, like forget it. I'm just gonna learn how to swim, and it was a PE class and they taught us how to swim. I was like, fuck, I was determined to know how to fucking float and swim. So I was like, but I mean, that's how I overcame it. So like, I think everyone should learn how to swim, because if you're gonna be
definitely.
I think if you're gonna be around water, definitely learn how to swim, because if you don't have the life jackets and stuff like that, it's not gonna help you if you don't know how to swim. So yeah, so I know how to swim. I also know how to do dragon boat too. So so
if you start drowning, that means it's your fear of commitment.
Can you swim, Marker? No.
I can
tread water.
It's just it's a very crude method of swimming.
It's the doggy paddle.
So I can't doggy paddle.
You can't doggy paddle?
I can't doggy paddle for shit.
I can.
But I can just. I freestyle, and I also do like breaststroke and stuff like that. The one I've found particularly weird is the dolphin.
It's like when you
it looks like you just
put your arms back and you flip your tail.
Yeah, so it's like you're like banging the water.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, and treading water is very important. That's a kind of a tough one to learn if the water's rough, but you know, it's one of those essential ones for sure. You need to be able to slow down and stop in one position so you can calm yourself before you start moving again. Because that's where learning to tread in water, that's where your rest zone is.
I think that's a good skill. So a lot of people are surprised that I can swim, which I don't know what's going on with that. Like, oh, you can swim? Like, yeah. Or is it, yeah, there might. Anyways,
I
anyway.
mean, apparently you jumped off a high dive for nothing.
Yeah.
That'd be some shit. You just jump off and you just realize you can't swim.
My thing is like when I was I think was younger, I was like, I didn't know a lot of people who could swim, but it's like, man, I used to think like certain people like, oh, know how to swim. Like, wow, that's interesting. Anyways, your fears?
You know, are you afraid of the dark?
Oh, TV
The
show.
show?
Yeah, yeah.
Made me afraid of the dark. I never asked myself that question until I watched that show, and I just after I see the intro of that show, I don't know what it is. They made it so haunting that it's just. I never felt that it was creepy until I watched that intro, and so when I walked outside, I would hear that intro in my head, like wherever I was in the dark, and then I just get so freaked out that like I wouldn't want to leave the house. But
Just like in my household, we watch horror movies all the time. So it's like,
did you
yeah, we watch.
like your parents and stuff?
Yeah, my aunts. So with my aunts and stuff like that, we watch horror movies all the time. So
Mm.
like my aunts, all they did was watch horror movies like Freddy Krueger, Jason, Texas Chainsaw Massacre. What else? And some Asian horror stuff too from Hong Kong and stuff like that. Oh man, we love all that stuff. So I was like,
I remember.
I was so like, yeah, definitely had nightmares. Definitely had nightmares. So
I remember when I was young, my parents were watching a movie. They did not realize it was a softcore porn. And they were watching it. They were watching it around me, and I think me and my brother. But when they were watching it, they got to a sex scene, and they're just like, "Get the kids out!" It was just funny, cause then
do you
it was.
oh, keep going.
No, go ahead.
Do you know James Wong?
No.
James Wong, he was the villain in Little Trouble in China, and the voice of
Okay.
the duck in Kung Fu Panda.
Oh, okay.
Do you know? So you still don't know James Wong? He has
No.
that voice. He has that. Okay. Well, the thing is, I didn't know he in the 80s he directed softcore porn,
Wow.
and there's horror, and this whole thing was horror softcore porn.
Another fun fact for everyone.
Another fun fact, but I learned that this week. I'm like, mother. Yeah, because
So the duck in Kung Fu Panda is actually a perv.
yeah, I was watching the whole thing. I was like, oh man, this guy. Yeah, you should definitely watch it. He's like slapping people around and stuff. It's called The Vineyard.
If I ever have that spare chunk of time where I don't feel uncomfortable, then yes,
Should watch it.
I may or may not check it out.
Should watch it.
Mm.
But that's the thing I learned this week.
Mhm.
Any other scary things?
Let me see. One thing. Trying to think here. I used to think that my belly button was just this open gateway to my stomach. And whenever I got stomach aches or got sick was because of my belly button. So when I was sitting in water for too long as a kid, I used to think that my belly button would be the thing drinking up all the water. So then my stomach would really hurt while I was swimming. It wasn't the fact that I was struggling and then like sucking up the seawater myself. It's because of my belly button, and so I would panic and I'd flip around, and be like, "Ah, my belly button's killing me." And that's when I learned the backstroke. But yeah, it was just that very, very odd fear. I think my grandma told me something like that. I think she was just, well, I'm pretty sure she was just really fucking with me, but it was just, it was something that stuck with me until my early teens, and I was just like, okay, well, that's not a thing. And, you know, your belly button's probably really gross.
I think yeah. I mean, I remember growing up like being afraid of like eating on my stomach
Why?
because if you lay down and eat on your stomach, you turn into an alligator. I was like, man,
It sounds amazing.
yeah. It's like, and then look staring at the TV. If you keep on looking at the TV close, you're gonna go blind. But that's what I do all day to as a career. It's like staring at the screen. Yeah.
I do believe that looking at screens in the dark for too long though, it does wear your eyes down.
Of course.
That's what I believe.
Of course. It does wear your eyes down. You already know I have glasses, so I wear glasses. And it hurts my eyes.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, that's what like, I don't know. It's like I wouldn't tell my kids that when
Would you? Okay, so would you tell any of your kids any of these fears,
Of course.
like, to not your experience with them, but tell them to fear this stuff themselves?
You know, I mean, for a lot of people, the fear comes from not knowing anything about a certain thing.
Mhm.
So that's where the
Mhm.
fear comes. And once you educate yourself on it, and stuff like that. But you can't help it, like being afraid of the dark and stuff like that, because you never know what's in it. And so, would I tell my kids that? No, I wouldn't tell them to fear it.
I do have a goal behind facing fears though. It's definitely to spend a night out alone camping out in some remote woods.
Oh,
But
by
yeah,
yourself?
yeah.
You should do it.
Even though
You should do it.
I just don't want to encounter like Blair Witch or satanic rituals. It's
Oh.
just like, come on, man. I'm just trying to eat my cup noodles.
That's every time.
please.
That's every time I walk into the woods. I just feel like we're gonna run into some Satanists.
Right,
And
right. But just staying there for longer than needed.
yeah, or you just
Then-
do it in your backyard.
You know. I mean, and it's just like, you know, if there was a Blair Witch, I mean, I'd at least invite her to hot pot.
Hey, what's
I don't
up?
know.
I mean, the best way to do it is just to ask her out on the date, and then she'll disappear.
And that's how ghosting was born. It's what the time when Cola asked the ghost out on a date and she just disappeared right in front of him. He stopped being haunted after
That's
that.
yeah, that's my that's how I scare ghosts.
All right, you got any other fears?
As an adult now,
Commit.
commitment. Commitment is not fear.
I think it'll be scary if you had those fears as a kid.
Oh man, it'd be so hard to. Be so hard.
I'm afraid I can't pay my bills and
Like, I mean, as an adult, like, I stopped being afraid of a lot of things. I have other things to be worried about. Yeah. I mean, like other serious things to worry about. But yeah, I think for now, like my current fear is my tires blowing out.
I think that's fairly rational.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Or not blowing out, but just like hitting a nail or something on the
Yeah.
road. You know.
There's a huge spikes in cars getting their tires shredded nowadays, just because
Yeah.
a lot of people are leaving their cars during COVID, leaving their cars stationary, and their tires are getting deflated, and they don't realize, and they're driving on those deflated tires. It's like, and then it starts getting shredded.
Which is weird because a lot of modern cars now, they have sensors,
Yeah.
tire pressure sensors to tell you.
Yeah.
I just reinflated my wife's tires yesterday just to make sure that everything's Everything's still like in order.
Um,
Yeah, that was a fear of mine as an adult too. But I think because Cola knows I drive a car that has big rims and small tires, so it's if you're not paying attention enough, it's hard to tell when the tire's deflated. And so it was one time when someone deflated my tires as a joke, and I rode home and thought, why is my car kind of hitting these bumps so hard? Like, because when you hit like a bump or a pothole, you hear a thump, but it was more like a bang, and I was just thinking like this isn't natural. So when it came to stop, then I checked the car and my tire was shredded. But I found out that someone played a prank on me, and I got really mad about. It because I could have died. But needless to say, I'm not speaking to that person anymore. All right. But with that happy story, we'll be ending it right there. So thank you guys for tuning in, and tune in next time when Cola teaches us how to handle herpes outbreaks.
of course. Thank you. Yes, I will do those sessions.
We're out.